Thanks, Brian. And thanks, Drew, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I've never been to this place and it's amazing. So how many of you have heard about Colón 66 before? A little bit. Cool. Awesome. Well, we are a part, you can click on the, who are we? We are part of 501c3. It was created by law and its name has a long name, Puerto Rico Science, Technology, and Research Trust. And we're also a part of a national network we now have, those of us that do what we do now have a name. We're ecosystem builders. So we're part of this national network of over 70 other organizations that do ecosystem building to help their entrepreneurs thrive. It's called SourceLink. And basically what we decided about 6 years ago as an ecosystem was that we needed an ecosystem integrator, someone that was a neutral organization that could research what are the business support organizations out there. Let's map that out and let's connect entrepreneurs to the right resource at the right time. How many of you have heard about Parallel 18? Awesome, many of you. Well, we are sister programs within the same organization. And just a fun fact, the numbers in our names are by designs. Colón 66. 66 is the longitude where Puerto Rico is situated on the map, and 18 is the latitude. So there you go, a fun fact. Next. Basically, what we do is all centered around entrepreneurs. And what we want is to create a community that really supports and facilitates a fast flow of access to knowledge, talent, and resources. Next. And what I do is I work at the intersection of economic development and community building. And in that work, we do the ecosystem mapping. We also do community building to make sure that there's alignment along the resources, because at the end of the day, we want to better serve entrepreneurs. And in that process, we are also made aware of gaps. Where can we do a better job at serving entrepreneurs? Where do we have not enough resources, or perhaps those resources are not well aligned? And so that's another part of what we do, is how do we work with the entrepreneurship support organizations that are part of this resource network of over 250 organizations to bridge those gaps. Next. Thank you. Some of the ways that we have been serving entrepreneurs totally free of cost for us, that's very important. And making resources more available and accessible is we have a hotline. And you can call and have a one-on-one orientation or consulting with an entrepreneurship strategist. We also have a resource navigator. It's a directory and it's on colón66.com, and you can search by the type of resource that you need. And you'll see over 250 profiles of organizations that can serve you. We also have, there are many calls for applications, business competitions, seed capital opportunities, grant opportunities for businesses. And many times we don't know what those opportunities are, and we sometimes know about them a day too late. Well, we on a weekly basis curate all that's going on, and we publish it at colón66.com. And if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll get that digest every Monday on your inbox. And we also have a calendar. Events like these and others across the island are sometimes unknown, right? And we want everyone to be able to partake in free events such as these ones. So we have a central calendar of all of these workshops and networking events so that you can know and schedule, ahead of time. So in these past 6 years, we've served over 17,000 entrepreneurs, connecting them to over 250 business resource organizations. These are nonprofits, academia, public sector, also investors, co-working spaces, mentors, etc. We are an award-winning program. We've been recognized nationally by the SBA for the work we've done to support the development of our innovation ecosystem, especially in our work in increasing the number of SBIR grants. And that's something that I'm going to talk about later as well. So one of the ways that we do what we do is bringing people together and connecting, just like what's happening here. And after Hurricane Maria, which we've heard a lot about that because it's an inflection point in Puerto Rico, we started discovering and researching what we could do to kickstart our economy. And one of the things that we saw, and we were inspired by New Orleans Entrepreneurship Week that started after Hurricane Katrina. We were also looking at what Denver Startup Week was doing and such. And so we decided to do an event one time called the Boricua Entrepreneur Fest, or BEFest. And fast forward, many crises after that, we're now on our 5th edition. And I want to invite all of you to join us at Puerto Rico's largest entrepreneurship education and celebration event. It's going to be on August 31st at the Puerto Rico Convention Center. Next, our audience, it's basically for all types of entrepreneurs at every stage. It's a bit overwhelming, but by design. There are students, there are professors, there are investors. We have the diaspora that also fly to connect to the business community, and it's a bridge. We also have small business owners, we have startups, and we have government, both local, state, and federal. So this year, we're going to have over 120 speakers and mentors, over 50 education sessions. We have keynote sessions, but we also have tracks. So we have sometimes about 5 stages with content and about 200 people per track. So it's a lot going on, but it's also very exciting. It's kind of South by Southwest where you have to be, you want to clone yourself to be able to be everywhere at the same time. And we're going to have also we call it the Beehive, El Panal. And it's the biggest expo of business resource organizations, so that in one place you can connect with over 70 support organizations that are available. We have a 10% discount for you. So if you want to join us, you can scan the QR code and use the promo code UncommonE_BEFest. You can use small caps or caps. It doesn't matter. And join us that day. I am happy and excited that we're collaborating with Drew and Brian of Uncommon Entrepreneurs to do something especially tailored for you. They'll be curating a session about how to connect with the local entrepreneurship ecosystem. And we're also going to be collaborating in that networking session that is so important at the end of the BEFest, so that we can create connections that are so valuable. And also we're going to have English-Spanish translation simultaneous. So we have some speakers that are in Spanish, others that are in English, and a wide array of audience language preferences. So we're going to have that English language translation. We're also going to have sign language translation. So it's all about being inclusive, accessible, and lowering those barriers of entry, creating those ramps of access ramps to the resources that people need to start and grow successful businesses from Puerto Rico. Next. So quickly, I talked about a map. We have mapped out the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and it's called Tu Camino Empresarial. I have some maps here that you can take that are printed out, but also there's a digital version. If you go to colmena66.com, you can see that. And next, there's also, this is a map that will help you find out which resources you can access depending on the type of business that you have, and also the business stage that you're at. Next. We also have one for agropreneurs. Next. And in this map, you'll also see the access to capital continuum that we have on island. So this includes all the way from grants to private investment, traditional lending, and everything in between. Next. So those of you that are innovation-driven entrepreneurs that do R&D, that are testing new products, How many of you have heard about SBIR grants? Okay. SBIR grants is a program from the federal government managed by SBA that is, they works with through 11 different federal agencies. And the idea behind it is that R&D is a huge cost. So small businesses usually shy away from it. But if we want to be competitive, we need to invest in R&D. And so that's where the federal government comes in to bridge that valley of death. And so next, the thing is that these SBIR grants have been around for more than 30 years. And there are some states in the U.S. that are very good at winning hundreds of them each year. In Puerto Rico, we're lagging behind massively. So we at the Science Trust have put together a whole support structure to help entrepreneurs and also researchers commercialize new technologies, and all the way from idea all the way to submission of a hopefully successful SBIR grant. We're talking about up to $1 million of equity-free funding, non-dilutive capital that you can access through each of the 3 phases of an SBIR grant. Next. And there is a whole SBIR CTR ecosystem composed of academia, nonprofit, public sector. So if any of you are interested in exploring that for your businesses, we are through some of the awards that I mentioned before that we've won. We're in the process of organizing a program. And we want to do matchmakings between researchers in universities that do not want to be entrepreneurs, and that's fine. But we want to see how we can match them with entrepreneurs that are interested in commercializing those innovations and technology. And finally, everything that we do, we're super data driven, and we do the largest annual entrepreneurship survey. And we published that in the status and the report that we just published a couple of weeks ago, status report of Puerto Rico's entrepreneurial community. Scan it, read it. It's in English, and it's very informative. And I encourage you to look at the data and give us feedback, share it. What we want to do is for decision makers to make data-backed decisions that support and help entrepreneurs. And I think the next slide is, again, the QR code in case any of you want to scan it. Again, August 31st, it's a whole day event at the Puerto Rico Convention Center, and we all hope to see you there.